welcome to this week's episode of Like, Share, Follow. And this week I have Shannon Reynolds, who is a marketing coordinator at the Events Centre on the Sunshine Coast. How are you going, Shannon?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And so you recently just started in this role because when did you graduate? It was very recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, only in last semester. So, yeah, about a month ago. Yeah, finished up all of my assessments and submitted them all. So that was amazing.
You're done. And so tell me about your role at the Events Centre.
Yeah, so a marketing coordinator basically looks up at everything, advertising, so print advertising, digital media, pretty much everything. And I've been doing a lot of graphic design over there. So that's been really good, but a lot of email marketing. I didn't realize how much email marketing takes up so much, and it's got a really good conversion rate as well. So that's something I learned over there. But yeah, basically anything they need to know. They have a lot of events over there, and a lot of all different events that sort of cater to a lot of different target audiences. So it's pretty fun. Depending on what event you're sort of either targeting children or the older demographic or teens. So that keeps it interesting. So far I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah.
That's great. And so did the events of the last week where we're in the Sunshine Coast, we had to go into lockdown, did that have any impact on what your job is and what you had to do?
Yeah, it did. 3 sold out shows had been cancelled. So luckily there was a little bit of pre-warning that we may go into lockdown. So the program sort of staff had organised some potential dates if we were to go into lockdown. And luckily the lockdown only did last those couple of days. So we were able to reschedule Paul Kelly and the 10 Tenors and play events like that. So that was really good. And it was just a lot of like emails going out, a lot of calls. It went way smoother than I thought it was going to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because, I know working in events, it's so dicey these days, It's things change at the drop of a hat. And so it's really...
Yeah. Although the audience, people are becoming used to it too. So I think everyone now, when they're booking an event or a ticket to something, they're sort of understanding that something may happen. So everyone was super understanding. They're like, oh, well, we knew, that. So people are really, easygoing nowadays. So that's good.
Yeah, well, I think we have to be.
They've changed their attitude, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so tell me, how did you get from because you were snapped up pretty soon after you finished, but you have been working full-time throughout your entire degree. So tell me about that, how you managed that, and then how that led you to your current role at the Events Centre.
Yeah, so I started my Bachelor of Business Marketing in 2017, and I was just working part-time and studying, and then I just felt I had worked full-time previously before that because I had a few gap years traveling and things like that. So I was really missing just the income, and I actually did find it hard to juggle part-time work and study because the times are all different, so you're constantly juggling. So I thought, if I get a full-time job, at least I know my hours of work, and then I would be happy to drag out the degree a little bit longer, just knowing that it would just be much more structured. I'm a very organised person, and I feel like that was actually easier. Yeah. So I ended up getting a traineeship with the council as an administration officer. So that was really good because it's very hard to get into council. I know that much. So coming in as a trainee helped a lot. And then I had to put my degree on hold for 6 months to do a Cert 3 in business. Because that was just part of the traineeship. Yeah. And you did have a whole year to complete that traineeship, but I did all the study in the 6 months just so I could get back to uni. And then they were really supportive of uni, and I sort of just kept studying and I did 3 subjects a semester. So it took me 4 years to do a 3-year degree by doing 3 subjects, and there was a couple of little summer subjects here and there. So it was a full-on 4 years. I've loved it. And I ended up changing jobs 3 times since then. So slowly moving up the ladder in council whilst studying, which was really good, getting a lot of experience.
Yeah. And so tell me, we were talking about this before. So working full time and studying, it's starting to become, more prevalent. I'm noticing it more with students. So, and I had to do it myself as I was sort of getting my degrees as well. So, what are some of the key tips you can give to students who are planning to do that, to take on study as well as full time work?
Yeah, I think the biggest tip I can give is that just be confident in yourself and just know that you can do it. It's not as daunting as it sounds. People look at me and they go, oh God, you can do 3 subjects and work full time. I don't know how you do it. And it may be different for a nursing degree and things like that, where you've got prac and it's a lot more demanding on your time. But as more and more subjects are going online and things like that, it's not as hard as you think. And to be honest, I found it easier. I would just go to work from 7:30 till 4 every single day, and then I would just watch all my lectures online, and then I would attend my tutorials either at nights, or I get an RDO with my job, so that helped a lot. I would try and get all of my classes in on my RDO, so it's like I was working a 5-day week. I would just attend all my classes on my RDO. And I was saying to you before about if you give procrastination, I feel like sets in when your body knows that you have time. So when you're actually working full time and you know that you've only got next week to do this, and I was very organized, every week, out of the 13-week semester, I would have something due in each week, even though it wasn't actually due that week. I was that person that was submitting an assignment 2 weeks early, because I would let my lecturer or teacher know that I've set out how I'm going to tackle this semester, so I hope it's okay that I'm submitting early. And they said, no worries, as long as it's not late, they don't mind. And open communication with my tutors as well. I would always start the semester shooting off an email, letting them know I work full time, things like that. So that was really good. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that when it's sitting in front of you and you've got that work on your plate, you end up just doing it. You don't think too much. So if you just enroll into it and give it a go, just try it out for one semester. And if you feel like you can't do it, you can always drop back. But if I can do it, I think anyone can. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think, are you the type of person who, if you have one task to do, you're just rubbish, but if you've got 10, like, you smash through them?
Oh, I've noticed that so much since finishing uni. I now have no uni to do when I get home from work, and nothing is, like, the dishes need doing, the washing hasn't been done, like everything has just fallen away because I've got less to do. But before, when I was studying, everything was just really, everything was organized and perfect. So I'm just trying to work out now, like, how to get back into that routine. Everything's just fallen away. It's a huge adjustment, but I think you've got it might take a certain personality. I don't know. I'm quite introverted, so I don't need I don't mind not going to a lot of social events. There was a fair few times where I'll have to cancel and not go and things like that. But that didn't bother me because I had a job that I wanted to do, and I just sort of focused on that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are the same. They're happy to just get that degree and get moving up that ladder as soon as they can and get that experience.
Yeah. And tell me, so as part of that, what has been some of the best career advice you've been given along the way?
Oh, I actually jotted this down. So the best piece of advice during my career is that you always have to look after yourself. And I actually got given this advice from a older employer who was just about to retire, and I was training at the time, and she'd always said to me, just look after yourself. And I think, I don't know where it comes from, but I think in work we can put all of our emotions and our personal life aside, and we just are so focused on your job and trying to be the best that you can be, and you don't want to let anyone down. But that's the biggest thing I've learned. As much as you don't like to think you are replaceable in the workplace. Like, if something was to happen to you, like seriously happen to you, they're able to replace you. So you've just got to think about yourself, take on, if opportunities arise. Getting to the council position that I previously just had, I had seen 2 jobs pop up that looked great, and they both popped up at the same time, and I ended up applying for both, and then I ended up getting both.
Wow.
They were stayed about a week apart. So one had said, you're successful in this position, and the other one had said, they hadn't told me I was successful yet, but they gave me a very promising feeling that I was. So when they'd said, oh, you're successful, would you like to accept the position? I just had to run with it and just say yes, because at the end of the day, if the other one fell through, I would be left with nothing. So you're better off just, because at the time you don't want to let anyone down. You don't want to say, yes, I can, and then they've put all this work to enroll you and put you on and everything, and then a week later you leave. But you just have to. So I just said yes, and then so they onboarded me. I filled out all the forms, did all the paperwork. They set me up in all my access on all the applications I needed, and I was due to start on the Monday. And then on the Friday before that, I had a call from the other job that I wanted a little bit more, and they had said, you've been successful, would you like to accept the position? And I just had to jump ship and just say, yes, I would like to accept it. And even worse, I was working on the same floor. So the job but it was a good 2 weeks of awkwardness. But at the end of the day, it blows over. They replace with someone else. That person is extremely happy and, in that role. So they were probably stoked that I had done that and said no. And then happy days, like you're just working in a job that you want to be in. So yeah, always look after yourself. That's the biggest, because I don't know what that was, but I know a lot of people, and I see it a lot. They say, oh, I don't want to go on annual leave, or I don't want to go at this time, or I don't want to jump ship yet, or, it's a job. You've just got to keep, thinking of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is great advice. Like even thinking too about things that go on and changes that happen, and thinking, am I even going to care about this next year?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So you don't let things affect you.
Yeah, that's it. And you really can. Like, I mean, in my traineeship, I would almost not attend like some really important family events or times, and that is my biggest regret. When we had a family event and everyone was there, but I couldn't go because work was really busy, and I felt bad for taking annual leave. And now I look back and think, they've got those memories now, my family, forever, and I wasn't there. Like, that is the biggest regret, and I will never ever do that again. I will always put my family or my life first. Obviously you've got to be a good employee, but sometimes we can become a real slave to our job, and you've just got to think about you, because if you're educated and you're good at your job and you're confident and you can do it what you do, you'll pick up another job fine. So not to worry.
Yeah, that's great advice. And so sort of furthering this conversation, what do you think set you apart in getting your current role with the Event Centre?
Yeah, so definitely graphic design, a Bachelor of Business Marketing at the time that I had enrolled. The recommended pathways, for your majors and minors were accounting, HR, more businessy subjects. I'm not sure what it is like now, but at the time, it was in the very fine writing down the bottom, or you could select some subjects from the arts or things like that, which is what I ended up doing. But a lot of people don't see that that's available. So it might be now, but always check. And I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is that I know for a fact the whole reason I got this job with the Event Centre as a marketing coordinator is because they really needed someone with graphic design. And I think in my graphic design course, because it was my minor, no one was doing business or business marketing. Everyone was doing the visual communication or communication sort of degree, but no one was really doing business marketing. So that has definitely set me apart, because on the coast, there's so many small businesses. They kind of want a jack of all trades, especially it depends on what you like as well. Like, I like to be creative and I like to just be able to do it all. So that's the fun part. But if some people in their marketing might be a bit more strategic in the way they think. So, but that's definitely what set me apart for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like a great combination, particularly when you're designing things with the purpose of marketing, like having that knowledge as the base.
Yeah.
So,
and it intertwines so much. In graphic design, they talk about colours and what particular colours attract or trigger certain emotions in a consumer basically, and you do packaging design, and you do so you sort of not only learning about the marketing side of things, but you're learning about just colors and, you know, all the visual element, which is huge. And graphic design, I don't think, you know, when I was in high school, it's like, oh, I want to be a graphic designer. And at that time, I don't think graphic designers made that much money, or were very, like, it was sort of a bit of artsy sort of thing. But now, like, everything's digital. And even if you're a bit of an artist, you can always draw something and scan it in and then just manipulate it through graphic design. So it's going to be a massive, it might even be now, but so far what I can see, people want graphic designers. It's all visual nowadays. You need to attract them like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so my next question for you is around, what are some of the skills you found most beneficial from studying at university? And we know it's graphic design, but are there any other skills that you found really helpful in your current role?
Yes, the ability to research and just think about things a little more from a professional sort of lens, really. So I think that's what uni has taught me a lot, is how to research. The information is there. There's, you know, the internet is an amazing tool and resource. So to be able to research something, look into it, learn something. So I'm not sure whether, uni's taught me that you can sort of just learn anything if you want to learn more, or I feel like uni's taught me so much that I find it hard to pinpoint, because I feel like it's who I am now in the way I think, because it's been so long. But when I think of me before study, it was very just, you know, I feel like university sort of helped me just look broader into, So,
and I think maybe even look at a range of perspectives as well, like looking at different angles too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's always like two sides to every story, and you do it when you're studying and researching into one particular topic, and you think, okay, this is the answer here, and then you think, oh, this one completely contradicts that one. So, yeah, no, that was really handy, and I think just being able to head into a professional setting and know how to write reports and professional documents, and I'm not sure if they still do Core 109, but just being able to, speak. Your whole vocabulary changes as well, I think, from uni. Yeah.
Absolutely. And now on the flip side of that, what have been some skills that you wish you'd learned at university that you didn't learn there?
Yeah, so I think there was one subject, I think it was a marketing one, but it was basically all about, okay, how to prepare you now. It was the final subject, how to prepare you now for the real world. And I think the biggest thing that they maybe could have put in there, or whether it's a separate subject altogether, and it would be helpful in all areas of no matter what you're studying, but how to write proper resumes and cover letters that actually stand out to employers. When I look at my resume before working in this kind of council setting, it's very basic. And then I was able to meet people through work and sort of talk to people who are much higher level than I am, and sort of look at their resume and cover letters. And because a lot of the selection process and application, especially with applying for jobs on LinkedIn or through Seek, it's all computerized. They're picking out keywords and key phrases and things like that. And there are some really great potential employees out there. And if they don't know that's how it works, they're completely missing the boat. So I think if I had, I don't know whether it would be I don't know if it'd be a whole subject, but if a subject touched on resumes, cover letters, and how to make yourself stand out, be confident, and be picked. Because
you know that, like, at the end of every semester, I run a session called Be Work Ready that covers all of that. And I even recorded it, so it's all on YouTube now too. So so that's great. And that was the only one that I had seen. I was unable to attend because of work, unfortunately. But I think stuff like that, if more tutors or lecturers have something like that, some sort of resource available, it would be great. And I'll link it in the comments of this as well, just in case you watch them don't want to have a look as well. So
for sure.
Because it's so important just to know, even it's all around communication as well, just how to structure things so you're cutting through, and the people who are looking for you can see you, like without making them go through all this information, telling them your life story, like just actually it's pretty much smacking them in the face with it.
Yes. Yeah. And every job that I have applied for in counsellor, I've probably applied for about 8 of them and only, got 3 of them. So there was a lot of times where it was knocked back. But for every time I received an interview, there was not one job that I had applied for that I hadn't received an interview. And it is purely down to the cover letter and resume, because for every single resume or application, it was a complete fresh slate. The resume sort of was a 1-page document that sort of stayed the same, a bit about my education and things like that. But the cover letter, it was like an assignment, and it's a lot of work. Yeah, you're going into it thinking, wow, here's another assignment tacked onto my uni study. But employers can tell right away if you've used the same cover letter over and over. And how are you actually able to talk about the job and how you want it if you're not tailoring it to that job? So that's a really important tip as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're better off applying for less jobs, but the ones you do apply for, really think about it and write a whole new cover letter for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given. And even like what I recommend is actually not writing the key selection criteria, but actually giving examples of how your background and education and whatever actually respond to those. So you give examples of how your background experience aligns with those on the cover letter. So then they'll look at it, because sometimes they don't even make it to the CV, and like they say you've got about 6 seconds to get attention. So you might as well, make it as easy for the recruiter as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but yeah, no, I feel as though that I have seen a lot of other trainees that I had started out with and just stay very stagnant, and they're not any less skilled than I am or anything like that. It's just I've spoken to them, a couple of them before, and sort of taken a look at their cover letter, and it's just it's using the same one, and yeah. So yeah, it's super important.
Now, because this is like you're on this show because you studied some social media courses with me. So does your role now have much to do with social media?
Yeah. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'm not sure if we've got YouTube. I'm not actually fully aware of all the social media channels. I've only been there about a month, and there's another marketing girl who, because I've been so focused on all the graphic design, she's sort of been taking care of the social media. But they've got, and that's a lot of work. But yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. A lot of the stuff that I had learnt in the your courses and your subjects are going to become so helpful, because they give actual examples of how to do things, and they're all backed by research and that it works. So I actually ended up my friend bought your I must get one. My friend bought your textbook, and I had a look at it, and I was at her place and I had a look at it. And that's when I wrote that thing about your textbook, because I was reading through it just thinking, this is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's such a great tool. So, yeah, I'm thinking, I feel like every office space who are doing, marketing office space needs to have that textbook in their bookshelf, because there's so much to it. So if you can have it a bit more simplified, and this is, a good way to start, I think that'll be really, really handy. So, yeah, I'm keen to get my teeth into all that sort of stuff.
Excellent. And so what is something that you've learned about social media in the last couple of weeks that you could share? So it could be anything. It could be a platform change or a new tool, or just something that you've discovered.
Yeah. The power of LinkedIn, for sure. I set up my LinkedIn probably a year before I finished my degree. So sort of just prepping to transition into, finishing my degree and things like that. And it has been, for one, I've had this opportunity here today through LinkedIn. And as they say, I probably wouldn't have gotten the job that I'm in now it is about what you know, but who you know definitely does help. And there's that platform, you've got direct access to those employers or those brands or whoever you want to work for. So if you can get on board and start engaging with those people, because it happens. They do engage. They are on there, a lot of professionals. So LinkedIn is just, it's a must nowadays. And I can see everything's just going to be going in terms of jobs, and everything's just going to be, it's the new, it's like Facebook basically for work, and it becomes fun the more you're on it. Yeah. It's become a bit of a little social hub now. Before I was on there just feeling like I just had to put up, things about my job or my experience or things like that. Now I go on there, check it out, see what everyone else is up to, and I've connected with a lot of people who were in my degree, so that's been really good, seeing what they're up to.
Yeah, LinkedIn is amazing, and I think, and I think sometimes I push it really hard at uni because if you get onto it early while you're still studying and start building those networks, you're going to have such a much easier time when you actually start looking for full-time roles, and things come to you. Like if you're consistently posting about things about your area of expertise and building your brand on there and connecting with others and offering value, absolutely, like it's just a matter of time before amazing opportunities come your way.
That's it. And I had I'm not as afraid on there to connect with, like there's the manager in Council of Media, the manager, and I just connect, and she connected back, and then she liked that I was doing this with you. And so even though I don't know her personally, how else would she notice me in a way? Because, we're not in the same building or anything like that. So that sort of stuff is really important.
Yeah, no, it's so weird. And it also, like, I just find too, sometimes you don't even, some people are watching what you're doing on there without actually liking it. And you'll go to an event and they'll be like, oh yeah, and they'll talk to you like you know each other, and you build connections that way too. So it's just great just to be on here and be active.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, no, I love LinkedIn. I'm converted now. Yeah. And I highly recommend it to anyone who's at uni now, or just anyone who's into that sort of thing. So
yeah. And so if we're talking to, say, emerging professionals who are still at university, who may not be working full time yet, but they're still trying to enter their area of the industry, what advice would you give to them to help them to be successful in their careers?
I think people are turned away by internships or traineeships, things like that, where, the salary might not have been as high. And I know that sometimes there's a bit of a stigma around, you've studied for however long, the fact that, you come out and you've got to sort of start at the bottom again. It can sort of, it's not great for people's ego and things like that. But that is the perfect way to get in, is just, or even if there's opportunities for backfills, as I was saying earlier, like right now I'm in a maternity backfill, just anything, any opportunity. Don't let it deter you if it's part-time, whether it's only a couple of months, whether or not it's traineeship, internship, just go for whatever you can to gain that experience. And I think also maybe I did have a friend, I hadn't had to do it myself, but I did have a friend who was struggling to get a marketing job after he finished his degree. And he ended up just reaching out to a local brand on the coast and saying, hey, do you mind if I come in for some work experience? I've just finished my degree. I'd love, and I think he worked for a full month for free, just going in a couple of times a week, helping with whatever they needed marketing, and he ended up getting a job.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if it's our generation or whether we feel as though we're a bit more entitled to, not do free work or internships and things like that, but it really is one of the only ways if you're struggling.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be and it shouldn't be for an extended amount of time. You should be going like how long it's going to be for. Like, but the thing is, you go in there, you gain experience that you can put on your CV, you get references from doing it, and the contacts that you make. You're right about, it's about, you know, who you know as much as what you know. And most jobs aren't advertised, so it's by doing that and building your network in that way that you're actually going to end up employed. So it's really important to do that.
And a way that I sort of thought about it as well was that, you know, a business degree or, you know, marketing degree is 3 years. And, you know, you've got people who do nursing degrees and teaching degrees and things like that. That's 4 years, and almost a year of it is free work. They do their prac. So treat your graduate year once you've finished as just pretend you're on prac. Don't think too much about it. Don't think, oh, I want to earn more money, or I want to get better experience with this particular company, or whatever it is. Just take everything in your stride and just look at it as just like, I'm just gaining experience. That's my whole next year for me. I've just sort of ruled it out as just gaining as much experience as possible, throwing myself in the deep end.
And that's a great attitude to have. Like I think sometimes your university degree, I mean, I recommend just getting as much practical experience while you're studying. So then you leave and you're going to be so much further ahead of the game if you leave with that degree and, you know, it's experience and a portfolio of work which shows the impact that you can have. Like you'll be able to find a job quite easily. But even when you do come out, like you have to actually sort of earn your stripes. Like that's when you know, you can't just walk into, unless you're starting your own business, which some people do, which is great, but you have to start at somewhere. And then people will get to know you that way, and then you impress them that way, and then you'll start to rise up the ranks. So it's being patient, you know.
And even you saying that just reminded me that even when I was an administration officer, because I was, you know, saying, you know, oh, I'm studying marketing at the moment. If you guys need anything, if you need any kind of marketing, like with council, there's a lot of stuff around the turtles and the hatchlings and how people need to turn their lights off, and that's all marketing in itself. So just by saying that, little jobs would come to me here and there. Oh, Shannon, we need, I started the Mary Cairncross Scenic Reserve. They weren't on Facebook or Instagram, so I started up a Facebook and Instagram page. I was the admin officer. It's not what I was doing, but just by voicing, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that for you. And all of that stuff ended up on my resume, and that was experience, even though it wasn't my job anyway. So it doesn't really matter, even if you're working for in hospitality or whether you're working for retail, you could always say, hey, did you want me to start you an Instagram, or did you want me to start engaging with more people, doing stories, whatever it is, but that's all experience. And you can put all of that on your resume, and you need it.
Absolutely. Like you get in and then you put your hand up for things. So that was where in my first job was at ABC TV, and I was a production secretary. So I was in admin as well. I was there to support the executive producer, but I started to put my hand up, and by the end of that first year, I was writing scripts, I was producing segments, I was doing all sorts of things that was way out of my you know, description, and I wasn't being paid for it. But then I managed to get other great roles because of that experience. So it's the experience that's the valuable thing, not the money that you're getting for it in your early years. So
yeah, because I mean, a HECS debt, we basically just paid all this money for study. So you may as well, like, I would pay for that experience. If someone said to me right now, here's 2 years at least of marketing experience or whatever, people would pay for it. So it's, you know, it's good to do that stuff for free because it's worth something. It's worth more than money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so now we're on at the end really of our interview. So the most important question of the whole show is, who do you like, share, and follow?
Yes. Okay. So the people, so I love all things fashion and beauty, and I follow a couple of influencers and then a couple of brands. So the ones I wrote down were, I follow Arj and Mecca, so they're Australian sort of fashion and beauty brands. And then the influencers I follow are Tamara Kalanick and Emma Hill. So even though they're not in the event sort of sector of things, the way I sort of just keep my feed, and I actually have a separate Instagram just purely for almost work-related stuff and just things that keep me inspired.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're who I like, share and follow. Yeah. So I think staying inspired with being creative with marketing and things like that is, key.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And maybe you could tag them in, or their accounts in the comments of the of this post once we finish.
And Dash of Milk, ever since having Bronte on one of our lectures, ever since then I've followed her and just followed her little journey, and it's really inspiring.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, and they're always, so that's a really good one as well.
Cool. And so do you have any final words to share before we wrap up?
Final advice or words would just be, just be confident, I guess, because I think that's the big thing, is that if you can get chewed up, you've just got to just take it and just be confident in what you've learned and what you've studied, and just know that every single person who is successful or where you want to be all started exactly where you are, and the ones who usually make it, and it's just that they're a little bit louder and a bit more confident. So just be confident with what you've learned and just go for it. Really think about you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. And not next week, we're going to have a week off next week. The week after, I have Brooke Fester, who is now a content writer at Research Digital. So that will be in 2 weeks' time. So thank you so much for being on the show. And it was really great to chat to you and hear your story. And I'll see everyone else in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.